that's my vision. Is like when we get this dough, because just like what we went over today, and I put it in a text. I would love to be able to like talk to people, say, okay, how can we solve this? Because I see this Moguling thing where we all not only talk, but like somebody come in there and they need something handled, we handle it.
Exactly. Funding.
Yeah, right on the spot. Because what if the
Yes.
next? See, Mikhail, I mean, as much as I love watching Obsessed, I'm like, man, like, and I know they did you wrong, but I'm still thinking like, I'm like, wow, Mikhail's like really gifted, like, and that's kind of like why you got to have some people that encourage your genius and how God gifted. See, because they make you feel, well, until you making a ton of money, it ain't valuable. No, it's if somebody stole something from you, that
Hmm.
was valuable. It's like
Absolutely.
they took your chain. You had a $2 million chain on somebody's stash. Oh yes, yes, but in your case, it's like they took a $78 million chain. Yeah,
Exactly.
see, God gives people stuff. You're living proof of it.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why I don't be listening to people when they be talking all the player hating and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? All the ghettoism.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Like you're right. I'm definitely living proof of it because I'm owed over $24 million from my very first script. And so basically I can say I was a multimillionaire before I hit the age of 30. By writing that script. It's just aspect of, sometimes the money that's owed to you could be, it's hung up somewhere because somebody thought they could steal from you and get over on you and get away with it. You got to be relentless and just keep forward, because you're gonna get it back.
Say that one more time. See, because Mikhail, like I didn't even know it. We were right. It's just we around a bunch of people. They don't get it because they was just chase. When you go after money, you're not gonna go all out with your vision. You're going short. Your vision could be bought.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Chris, what you said about let's talk about how to earn money with assets. Again, income producing. I think the more and more we do this, the more and more jewels will come out.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
when just man, you talking, I could just say it because I guarantee when it's all said and done, a lot of the next big people come out of this. Because then you have like living proof, and I like this group already. Because
Absolutely.
we all coming together to mogul. I didn't
Yeah.
even know the definition until you told me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes.
I ain't gonna put my Bluetooth on. I didn't know that mean being relentless. Because all these other fake moguls that everybody looking up to, if that's the case, we've been moguling.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, that's why we're gonna be so powerful. Like this whole
Yeah,
movement of moguling, and the Moguling Club and the Moguling Wealth Building training, along with Moguling Tank World Tour and the Moguling Summit. As we move around,
uh,
uh, different cities, empower people, different
yeah.
events, as well as here on a clubhouse. So we're creating a movement that is going to change people's lives. It's going to, like I said, produce multimillionaires. It's going to produce millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires as we move forward. And it's going to be powerful, just so super powerful. I
Yeah,
see
because
it.
I wanted to say something. Because I'm glad you told me. Yeah, because I don't know if they're ready to take it. They're gonna have to be. Because you're right. We're gonna end up funding a lot of stuff. And the next big deals, some of the biggest deals, gonna come through this group. Watch what I tell you.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I believe it. I already know. Yes, we're taking
We
those steps.
gotta.
So let me go ahead and get started, Carlo. We're going to be about 5 to 10 minutes a day on this topic right here. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Moguling Club. Of course, uh, our segment is Moguling Talk. Let's talk how to earn money with assets. Um, give you a quick overview about myself. My name is Coleman. I am CEO and founder of Michael Decoli Money, luxury fashion and beauty brand at michaeldecolimoney.com. We are the next big luxury fashion brand, um, and we're growing rapidly. As well as the CEO and founder of MCSLive.net, which is a online ticketing service for all your live entertainment events. includes mcsstreaming.com, which is our streaming platform for movies, TV series, documentaries, and music. And I have a hospitality company called MakeItCleanNow.com, just to name a few of the business that I'm so blessed to have founded and started. The word moguling, for those who do not know what the word moguling means, it derived from the word mogul. Now, everyone knows what the word mogul or familiar with the word mogul is, but the word moguling is a form of action. So I took the word mogul and put ing on it, and I coined the term moguling. So it means to take action, and and the word moguling means one with a relentless work ethic to grow and succeed with determination, motivation, and empowerment. So, as you're moving on your journey along to super success, empowerment, growth, wealth, you are moguling, but you have to constantly take action every single day to be relentless in your quest for success. Okay, be relentless. Absolutely. So, Carlo, I'm going to have you go ahead and introduce yourself, and we can get it started talking about some great ways for people to earn money with assets.
Yeah, my name is Carlo Joseph. I'm with the company Clear Vision, Clear Path Inc. and Clear Vision New LLC. One's a real estate. Based our company, we're investors. We raise capital to fund all entertainment projects, um, film production, television production, music production. We're starting about 7 funds. I think 4 of them would be entertainment funds and 3 of them will be real estate funds. So on the real estate side, I would say Clear Vision New LLC or Big Equity. We purchase high-end luxury properties. We have a business model where we buy mansions and we lease it out to the elite. The mansions come with access to private planes, private security, private cars. Um, and that's about it right now. We want to go in and possess the land. But yeah, we operate more so a bank, and our model is more so a win-win model where we partner with various entrepreneurs, business owners. So we work with half startups and we work with half, I guess the segue in what you're saying, we're income producing companies and income producing assets, apartment buildings, condominiums, commercial acquisitions, you know, the same thing with entertainment. We buy existing catalogs of series, whether it's television series, cartoons, animation. We have the streaming service. We look to buy out some companies that have streaming services that are generating income already. So that's it.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. I love it. So let's just hop right into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for joining us today, right here on Moguling Talk. Let's talk how to earn money with assets. So, Carlo, what are some assets that you have that you would like to share with the people who are listening in now uh, on some things they can get involved in to start creating some passive income and moguling, start leveling up?
Well, here's one of the biggest. I was gonna say, and IP, which is intellectual property,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, I'm gonna go with that first. And we have a streaming platform that we're launching as well. But the main reason why I said the IP, which could be songs, like because you're a writer, Mikhail, so you know this, written scripts, because all of the things that we have on our wheelhouse puts us like really, really at the top. I'm very, very blessed. It took me years to figure out what, because sometimes we have stuff and we don't even realize that is our asset that will turn into wealth.
Mm.
We
Mm-hmm.
have like, especially we use Miguel because you asked me, but I got to look at you.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you've created, from the clothing line, the purses, the drinks, the ticketing, the streaming. See, and this is why I had to start off with our last session about telling them the amazing deal. See, because money, see, it was like you were building up all your assets first, and God had you to be faithful in getting all that ready. Now the funds are coming. So
Mm-hmm.
to really tell, it's not money first, assets second. It's like create assets. Like, okay, you do the plays, right? You do the scripts, right? And let's keep it real simple. One of your IPs, you already have an IP that somebody plagiarized or used that's already grossed over $7-8 million.
Right.
So you look at it like, oh, they stole. I look at it like, hey, that proves anything you put out is gonna be profitable right off the
Right.
rip.
You're right.
See, this is it's sort of like people don't value, they don't see what they have of value until it's bringing in capital. So just like you said, how to use assets. I'm sitting on so much IP, and one day I was like, man, and that's why I'm glad you brought this segment. It hit me too. I was like, man, I've been rich.
Right.
That's when it clicked into, now you'll be able to turn what you have into capital to support you.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually, it's the wisdom on how to connect the two. And usually that comes through another person.
Yeah.
Think about it. If we own a pizza shop and we had dough back there, tomatoes, I see it too. And we was on the beach somewhere. Okay, everybody come through. We're waiting for the people, and then like 1,000 people come through. We make like 40, 20 grand that day. It
Mm-hmm.
was a lot. But we had the product. We had the something we could exchange. We had the asset, which was
Exactly.
something that the people needed, which was the pizzas at the time. So it's the same thing. And see, I just think it's like a story says, they asked this woman, she was in debt and the creditors were coming, right? This is out of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And they was coming to take her children, and she came to a prophet, and the prophet said, what do you have in your house? So it's like us on this phone. It's like, okay, what assets do we have? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm not allowed to say numbers yet because you told me to, just keep it real blunt. But yeah, we have a ton of assets, and now, because of those assets, that's what I was telling you. Because of the assets, I didn't get a chance to say it last. That's what brought me the money for the funding.
Yeah.
They didn't just hand me the money because I had on a white T-shirt and some blue shorts. Because if that's the case, everybody would put on white T-shirts and blue shorts and become a billionaire. If it was about the dress code, you get where I'm coming from?
Exactly.
That's what this is about. How to take the assets we have and turn it into money. We need to first, let's do an assessment. That's what I did too. I did a use of funds. You looked at the stuff, and that
Exactly.
showed all the assets, all of the deals, and I own 50% in about 60 companies and 60 IPs or more. That's what I love. And the Lord had to show me that. So I took whatever the value of it, say a value of one of the assets was like $10 million. So automatically 5 million of it uh, is our companies. You get where I'm coming from?
Exactly.
We got to get people to see what they have as the asset, and the asset will turn into income. The asset will, remember water, ice, snow? It's
Mm-hmm.
like we have ice, and when it melts, it becomes liquid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same thing with the asset. When you get it in motion and create, and you start distributing and getting out, it would bring it back into liquid capital to you. Same thing they did with you. We took a written script, right? Let's go back to Sweet Revenge of the Bitter Woman, which is AKA Obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
You send it to the people, right? Follow the steps, right? They say they wouldn't do it, then they changed, tweaked it around, and then they used it, right? They
Mm-hmm.
cast it, put it out. Look at the process. Cast it, got it crewed, shot it, market it, put it out. I see it on TV like at least once or twice a year. It does the whole route, video deal on demand, streaming. It did theatrical, and now it's doing the ancillary, which is commercial television. It's being sold. So all of, see how you could create. It was an asset. It was a written asset. That's why it's called intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
So what everybody is looking at, money is one thing, but that true thing that creates money, like the lady was talking about, the short-term rent, all of these different assets. Okay, the lady with the lashes, those are their assets. And as they're servicing people, it's starting to become liquid capital.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this whole time, God gave everybody. Remember the 5 talents? He gave them the thing that would bring them the revenue and the lifestyle they want. They just haven't went in motion with it, or they haven't seen as it. See, you're living proof that what you create is valuable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, but that's the thing. The people that have the capital, they look to buy, just like what I do. I'm looking to buy things that are already proven. Yeah, I'll use the MGM example. Yeah, I got to say this, McKenna.
Go ahead.
The reason why we got the 8.2 billion or whatever, because in the plan I put for us to buy MGM for like 5.5 billion, and it's gonna make it was already making 1.5 billion a year, and it had the James Bond catalog, Indiana Jones, and the other catalogs, the value that it had. So number one, we were going to get an asset, an existing business, and it had other assets within that business,
Mm-hmm.
and it was making capital. So it had about 10 revenue streams already in it, and it had assets in it, and it had a big evaluation because of the assets. And so they was like, well, it's a no-brainer. So in 10 years, 1.5 billion coming in a year, we'd have make $15 billion and we could pay back the money no problem. And that's is I don't want to say this is the more simpler we keep things, and that's why I believe I got to put this out, the easier to be for people.
Yes.
But how you get them to switch their thinking and put the money on the back burner and put the asset first and push the asset, and it will bring you the money.
Yeah.
Even for production, because of the script, because of the business plan, because of the production, because of who the cast is, the lookbook, right? Because of who the crew's gonna be, the director, producer,
Mm-hmm.
writer, um, supporting cast. I look at them all the time. That's it. They get the funding.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
just the money to create it and then market it. And then there's another money to market and advertise it. Then there's another money to distribute it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a full circle, and then it comes back. The or we sell it.
Yes.
See, that's what I'm saying. And all of it started with some written words. Intellectual. So the assets that we have, to sum it up, is the IP. And yes, and I think we're probably north of $3 billion worth of IP. I want to say 10 billion, but I just say three for the sake of the people on there.
Exactly.
And it took me a while to figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
because when you're around people who don't have assets, they have assets, but they can't see what they're worth.
Yeah, they haven't. Like I said,
See,
like
that's what I mean. You're living proof of it. More than get mad at the guy. He just showed you anything you create,
it's powerful. Yes.
you're gonna have millions of dollars. So you could just tell that story. That's a simple example of showing people how you wrote something and it made over 24 million or 78 million dollars.
Exactly.
That's assets turning into capital. Sound like it to me. IP.
Intellectual
That's
property.
it.
You're right.
Always remember that because that's the word that came to me one day. I was like, man, and it changed my outlook on everything. Because when you're around everybody that say cash is king, no, IP is king. Intellectual property is king. So that's like if I had like 60 hotels or 60 apartment complexes, right, around the country, or I own 60 malls, right?
Right.
It's the same thing. Everybody could see that. Okay, yeah, he has an awesome portfolio. But when you say you got 60 scripts, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
you got 60 songs, or you got 60 TV series, right? You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing.
Right.
You got some animation. You got 60 animation cartoons you want to put out, or 60 video games you put. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Or in your case, alcohols or drinks you're putting out, or shoes or bags you're putting out, right? It's the same thing.
Absolutely. That's intellectual property. Yes.
Yeah, these are all assets. See,
Assets.
wealth is created Okay, can I use Marvel? You'll get what I'm saying. No, I'll use Star Wars. That's even better. This guy sold Star Wars Carolina for $4 billion to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Now, me and you both know, and the first time he put a movie out, it made over $100 million, and he created that.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. And then he borrowed the money from his. I guess he mortgaged his house to shoot the movie. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's assets turning into money.
True.
I think what more and more what we're seeing is that we have to help people identify the asset. In my case, here I am with about 7 business plans, and I got to make you laugh, Mikhail. All of this stuff I learned in college.
Mm-hmm.
With the business plan alone, you get the money first. This is for all the people like, oh, you got to do this, and no. See, that's what I mean. Everybody has a different experience and different information. These are the things I know. A lot of times we forget what we know because we get around other people and they tell you stuff on how it's profiting for them. But I'm
Right.
sitting on the phone with a gentleman who had something stolen from him or plagiarized that made over $7-8 million. This wasn't like a black film. Oh, my bad. I was supposed to say. You get what I'm saying. This was actually. I actually like the movie. I see it all the time, and it's still good to me.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like that's where we got to get people's feelings out of the way, people's opinions. Once you create an asset, you have to get with people that can help you turn it into liquid capital. And it's a
Mm.
process, it's steps to that.
Yes.
And that's where everybody breaks down on it. Because that's usually other people that's gonna come into your life or other people you have to find. Same thing. Like I'm gonna use that example of that ambulance movie. That was the best. This guy about to die, she ain't never do it, but it's some people that they've got on the phone that did, and they all worked together and got it done. You just need somebody to follow directions.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yes.
not for the creator or the visionary always to do all of the pieces. See, and we got to get people to get out of that. That's why there are no, like, you know what I'm saying? Even in a surgery room, the doctor ain't the only person doing everything. You got a whole team in there. That's what that movie showed me. It was her doing it. She had an assistant, the other guy, and talking to one surgeon, and he called in 2 other. So it was 5 people operating, 2 people right there, but 3 people operating remotely on one guy.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. That asset turns into money. And a lot of assets people have is the wisdom and the experience and the education. That's what brings them capital as well, or the expertise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yes.
nothing against what do you call them, mentor. I just think people should have partners. It's like in sports, you just got to get somebody on your team that's the best at that, so you
Right.
can stay the best at what you're doing. If you're the writer, creator, producer, well, you got to get the other people to do the casting. You can see that's what I do love about the entertainment business. I can say this now because they work together to get to the end, to get to the goal. Even
Mm-hmm.
when you see a movie come out or show, it's called collaboration. But it's
Exactly.
common sense. These are all assets. All assets. It's just somewhere people start compromising for a certain dollar amount. No, you don't know what the asset is going, how much capital is going to bring you. You just have to stay true to the vision, and everybody that's aboard of it stay true to the vision too. Remember I told you, don't change anyone's vision. Oh
Right.
yeah, I just got it. That's it too. That's the difference with our company. People say, what's the difference? Yeah, one of the problems we wanted to solve in the pitch deck was people getting their stuff funded fast. You can't put a movie out like, man, okay, I have to say, I use Avatar as an example. Makes all that money and we gotta wait almost 10 years for the next one to come out. That's the problem. When stuff gets popping, because it's like too slow for people to get their funding, to get it out, get it created, get it marketed, get it distributed. It's
Right.
just like a pizza. Nobody's gonna wait 3 days, so your pizza be ready in 4 days. Someone gonna make me a sandwich.
Absolutely. You want to move a lot faster. So,
That's exactly why we created what our company brings the value. Because I saw, and then in entertainment, nobody does anything until all the money's available. So they have to have their money up front, even the show to sign on the talent and the directors and the producers, the top people, to get the best people. So even if the money's not distributed all at once, it has to be somewhere where it could be distributed on a schedule. That's still asset.
yes.
So we're creating wealth by supporting assets, putting money behind them, so we'll bring back more money. It's like you send $1 out and you make $5. That was a good investment. It's more. It's 5 times what you put out, or $2, 2 times what you put out.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to grow in that area.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I wanted to
Oh, Khalifa's on. She might want to come to the stage.
oh
I
yeah,
just
Khalifa,
saw that.
the stage. You can raise your hand. I think she's just listening right now, but she can definitely come to the stage and add to that. Carlo, you said some amazing, valuable information.
It was in between my
Because
jump rope set. I'm go ahead. I'll mess with you.
sometimes we can, when you think about assets, sometimes we're thinking about initially. Sometimes we think about, oh, okay, a building, or property, But the way you broke it down is like all of us, every person in the world has assets inside of them. It's just that we have to tap into our own assets, whether it be, um, our gift to, uh, you know, mentor, or coach, or inspire people, um, do eyebrows, um, sing, write, dance. Your talents, like you mentioned, your talents is an asset. So you take that asset and you turn it into what? Money. So that's what we're talking about today. Some very, very valuable information. Intellectual property is asset. I love how you broke that down. A lot of great information. So people out there, you're listening to Moguling Talk. We're talking about how to earn money with assets. With assets. And they're inside of you. We just gotta get to the point where we start to, discover what we're very good at and what we do naturally. And is it a part of your purpose? Because I feel like once we discover our purpose, people discover their purpose, it's easy to do something because you love it and it's a part of you, part of your mission, and you're empowering people. So, yeah, those assets, you already have them. You just got to tap into them. So, tap into your assets. This is what I want to encourage people to do um, out there. Khalif, you have anything you want to add to that as we're talking about how to earn money with assets to encourage the people out there who's listening in?
Yeah, I was just taking in all the information. I think it was very, very profound too. What you said, Joseph, about like, looking at it as an internal way, like, you're the asset. Like what knowledge do you have? And, then turning that into a monetary gain and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like starting with your knowledge. I think that was very, very important because, we forget about it. I know me myself too. We tend to look outside of like, how to obtain a external asset as opposed to looking within. So yeah, I think that was very, very profound to take note of.
Oh, yes, very, very profound to add to what you said. Yes, the internal asset. I didn't even think about that. And, as a person who creates, I'm just creating. But to say, internal asset, intellectual property, you know, and that's kind of how I always operate. I've always believed, even when I didn't have the money, uh, that I can do anything. I said, forget the money. And I remember I was started doing some of my projects in the beginning. I had an actress. I'm not gonna call her name, but years ago, I was doing my first play, and I didn't have the money, but I made it happen. I made it. I'm not gonna say I didn't have the money, but I didn't have as much money as I would have liked to have to really make the production super, you know, grand. But I remember like having some forms of money, and I was like, you know, but I made the show amazing and made it happen, and I would just continuously move forward and be able to have things happen, and people knew. Now I know this guy probably didn't have that kind of money to make that happen, but whether I had favor or super creativity, and I remember doing the show, and this lady, one actress, came to me one day. She was like, "So how do you do this right here? How do you take care of yourself? How do you live?" I say, God. She said, "I don't believe you. I don't believe that." I said, "Well, it's true, you know." And but I was making those shows happen, and even one of my other friends, he'll tell you to this day, his name is Grant Gilmore. He would say, "Man, you would do these shows, you know, you would just make it happen, and we know how are you doing it." So the thing is that you don't need the money to be first to create something amazing. You just got to move forward and don't even think about the money. Even though we do need money to live, and it gets tough, it gets complicated, and we get, you know, sometimes people get stressed out and everything. Just keep going for that vision, and try and create a balance. You know, create a balance. As Khalifa was sharing me earlier today, we were talking, and she mentioned, "Hey, as long as you know you were about serving the customers and making sure that you're adding value, the money gonna come. The money will show up." So, and you know, internally, um, you know, we are the asset, as Carlo, Joseph, and Khalifa mentioned, that internal asset. You know, we are the intellectual property. Okay, so instead of cash is king, cash, we don't say cash is king over here. We say IP is king. That's a new thing. Intellectual property is king. So if you have intellectual property, you're a king or you're a queen. So intellectual property. So let's focus on you know, as I can share, let's focus on that intellectual property that we have internally, as as well as intellectual property externally. And I will be so much closer to uh, your moguling dreams of a wealth building, abundance, passive income, and overflow. So yeah, anyone would like to add to that and recap as we close out for all our listeners that are listening? Carlo, would you like to?
Oh
Have,
yeah. Hey. No. One thing I was gonna add as you was talking is because, like the title says, let's talk how to earn money with assets.
mm-hmm.
And this is one thing I've learned that short circuit is because people will get us focused on the money, but it's not like I always told you guys. The fun people, like your thesis, investment thesis, I look at it like, what do you need the money for? Like I said, if it's $1 or $1,000, 10,000, and it's gonna bring back double that or more money, the money's coming.
Right.
And I think what happens is that when people don't have internal assets or external assets or even a plan,
Mm.
that's what the business plan does. The business plan takes it from being an asset. I look at the business plan or the pitch deck or the executive summary, making it where the asset now can bring money in because other people can get involved. Just like as you said, you was doing them shows. See, and that's another thing. All the people that sit back and watch, like they say in movies, action. They're asking you how, because they want to do it. So now I remember there was a time in my life I found myself telling people and explaining. I felt like I was teaching a class, and they would go do it and get the result. To me,
Mm-hmm.
it was simple,
Right.
but to them, see, I keep saying this: we all add value, whether we like it or not.
Yes.
When you make up your mind that you're gonna add value. Remember I told, I'll give you an example, Mikhail. Remember I said if somebody else speaks up for you and everybody has to pass this test where they're going to get some money, even though they need some money, but
Right.
they got to pass it to another. You've dealt with it as you did shows. You got to pay the people, right?
Exactly.
Say it was 10,000 or 1,000 came in, but you got to, after you paid for the venue, paid for the ticketing, paid for all of the expense, and then paid the actors, you might have been left with 100, 200 bucks. But that's the cost. You get what I'm
That's,
saying?
oh,
That's
yes.
the value. They all added value to make this happen. So
Right.
when people are too money, I'll just say it, when they don't want to perfect what they're doing or give the best quality service, and that's what I do love about sports. It taught you to prepare to give your best, not for just you, but for your team. And not for when the team does well, then we all do well. So it's
Mm-hmm.
the same thing in business. So the money grab, I call them money grabbers. They'll overlook assets because they're chasing the money. So they don't see things right in front of them. The people who have capital, they're looking for opportunities to grow that capital. That's why it's called assets. The assets will take the money they have, whether it's a million, 10 million, 100 million, or billion, and make it turn into more. That's another thing. So both sides need each other. So, like you said, Moguling, this is a different level here,
Yeah.
and it's a mindset that people just have to switch over time, and their hearts have to be in the right place.
True.
You have to be okay with people being successful off of the stuff you put out or the stuff you show them. Think about people that put out music, and people are shocked that it's somebody that would listen to that, but it is.
Yeah.
See, and that's the same thing. Again, assets that bring in money. That's why I always encourage you, Mikhail, because I knew it. See, because I come from a different cloth, and I understand, because playing sports, I mean, people come spend money to come watch a quality team, or whether it's college, professional, or even high school, or quality players. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
these people have been perfecting their craft. So everybody knows the difference between great and like average or just subpar. And
Right.
nobody want to be around stuff that's not produced, that's not like, you could tell when people put the work in. That's all I'm saying. So it's the same thing with the asset. The more valuable the more value it adds, the more value it brings, the more money you're going to make. Real simple. And the more problems you solve,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a service or a product, it's the same thing.
Say it one more time, Carlo. You said the more value you bring or you add, the money is gonna
Yeah,
make.
the more value your asset brings to people's lives or the companies, the more value your asset adds, the more money you're going to get.
Absolutely.
Now I can't tell the ghetto people that because they're just trying to grab money. So it's even like the story about the lady who went to work for Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, and he asked her, do you one of them said they could only pay her in stock, and then when the company went public, she became a multimillionaire in like 60 seconds or like in 1 hour because she took the stock over the money.
Mm-hmm.
Again, she chose the asset.
Right.
Stocks is like ownership in a company. So
Absolutely.
that's the same thing that the people offer me when we fund the film. We have the equity and the rights of the film. So could you imagine if we have the next Star Wars catalog, or we have the next big whatever with these, you know what I'm saying? Or the next big artist, or whatever. Same thing.
Exactly.
So
Well
so it's
said.
just many ways to bring in money. But like you said, the assets. Let's talk
Absolutely.
about earning money with assets.
Yes. And you gave I believe, for all our audience who are listening, you gave what I feel an entire new perspective that a lot of people may have been overlooking, which is the intellectual property, that internal asset, which is so powerful, so powerful. So thank you so much for that, Carlo Joseph. Thank you for that. Yes. Khalifa, you would like to add anything to close out? Khalifa?
Hey, I stepped away for a second. Sorry. Um, but in regards to assets, you're talking.
Well, yeah, just to close out for, last recap, did I already come to you? I don't think I came to you to close it out. Anything, or did I?
No, just basically piggybacking off of what Joseph said about, the knowledge that you have, um and looking at that as an asset, I think is really, really good to start off with.
Absolutely, absolutely sounds great. Well, absolutely. So, in closing, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for joining us. Continue to keep moguling and continue to perfect your internal assets, because they are worth millions and millions and billions of dollars. So continue to continuously push internal assets as well as external assets. And just like Joseph said, the more value you bring, the more money you will receive. So the more assets you have, the more money you will receive. So let's keep moving forward. Let's change our mindset to keep moguling, have the moguling mindset to think abundance, to think wealth, to think beyond your current situation. And let's have moguling heart as well. So thank you all for joining us. See you next time right here on Moguling Club, Moguling Talk. Let's talk how to earn money with assets.